Hey guys, I might get audio check. Not sure how this is going. Microphone's not plugged in. I'm missing a cord. It's cold. I'm at Glen Ray. This is in the mess shed at Fridge. G'day. Hello. Stuart, g'day. Peter, hello. Mark Osborne, g'day. James P, g'day. Mark Shed Talk, hello. This is in the mess shed at what used to be GMR, used to be GMR, which is Glenray Mountain Railway, is now Tallowood Ventures, and whatever they make of that. But I'm here. There's light, there's electricity, and there's internet reception. So this is where we are. We're going to be sort of partly talking ahead and partly talk about the last couple of weekends because they've been a bit full on. Don't know if anyone noticed or saw anything on social media, but it's been a bit crazy. That's how it is. Can anyone hear me? Probably not. Who cares? Mark says it's all good. Yep, excellent. I'm pretty well wrapped up here. I've been at work all day. We had a hailstorm today. It's a bit cold. Glenray and probably also Grafton. Probably a lot of the way up the coast. Anyway, dance or nothing. It's a good way to be. But there was a hailstorm. I can do this. I'm doing this way because we've got lots of pictures and things to show you. I think I can do it like this. Probably. This might work. I'm probably going to drop out. Does this work? There we go. I think this works. This is the steamroller in Grafton, waiting for pickup to the National Rally. Scott and Tara, g'day. Kevin, hello. Literally, Peter. So this is a hail today. This was in Grafton. We saw about that much for about 5 minutes at Glenray, which is what? 50 kilometres south of Grafton, something like that. Anyway, here we go. So what's the roller doing in Grafton? We had a road run the other weekend. It was a fairly big event, actually. I sort of did a sort of a whole road run thing. This is crossing the Grafton Bridge. Started off fairly early in the morning. I'll show you a video. There's some videos here and there's some actual pictures and stuff. I don't know if there's many videos, but we'll start with this one. This is, can you hear me? Yeah, this is pretty early in the morning, just on sunrise, coming out Friday morning from Fridges, from Dan's shed. So spectacular, really fairly spectacular run. That didn't work. We'll try again. I think that's Dan and Christian, or Dan and Phil. Dan and Christian, probably, I think. On there. I haven't got any of this ready to go, so I don't know how it works on the other end, but we're going to try. This picture's early in the morning, before dark, before daylight, really. Just lighting up pretty early. Moving out the shed. Also, a pretty good way to tell the dents on the footplate is that the drain cocks are open. That's usually a really good way to tell. And at this point, yes, they are. So that's lighting up pretty early. It's still pretty crisp there. What else did I post? I had a heap of videos, I think. I don't know how many of them I actually had. Going to keep going, and we might just wait. It'll be a bit slow to upload. I guess you're probably getting this. I didn't sort of. Dan gets a bit defensive when you tell him about that. Dan again, I would imagine. No, that's me, Christian. So it's not always Dan. But that's further down the road. So made it into town by about lunchtime with not too many hiccups, actually. Pretty straightforward. That was Friday. Crossed the bridge at Grafton. There was a video of that. I don't know where it is. Can't find it at the moment, but this one will do. Land Rover in. I don't think there's much of a hill there. There might be. But, yeah. So this is about lunchtime, crossing the Grafton River. And we had a pretty good run, really. It's about 17 kilometres away from where we started. And that's Phil, I think, and probably Phil and Fridge on board. Going to keep going. I I don't know if there's much really to see, but this is what we did the other weekend. It is a bit harsh. Sometimes you could drive it yourself. Not this weekend coming, but the one after is going to be a pretty big drive it myself sort of a weekend, I think. I think this is a... How long does it take to steam up? I lit up about 4:15, and we were out of there by 6:30 pretty reasonably, with enough steam to get going. So how far before we got to top up the water? When did we top up water? I think we topped up at the bins, which is 3 or 4 kilometres, which is the end of the driveway, the end of the dirt road. Probably didn't really need to. Generally, we get right out the end of Shenandoah Road, which is another 3 or 4 kilometres, I guess. But we did go back for water. So when we got out to the end of the driveway, we did actually top up and go back for water. About 2 hours, Dan says. Yeah, that's about right. Hey, Randy. Sorry. 2 hours is comfortable. We topped up the tender there, but topping up the boiler, it's a constant thing. There's water going in it all the time, nearly, or a lot of the time when it's on the road. So it's unusual that there's not water going into the boiler, but topping up the tender, it holds about, gosh, what do we work out? About 600 litres, 700 litres, something like that. I could tell you the figure in gallons. I've got it written down somewhere, but I have to look that up. So we topped up probably 3 times into town, so 8, probably, I would say 5 or 6 comfortable kilometres on a tank full of water. So how much water in 2 hours? Depends how hard it's working. If it is working pretty hard on the road, if it's working pretty hard, it's how much water in 2 hours? Comfortably to 500 litres, I would say. Comfortably, if you get into it. But just ticking over the corner, probably a third or half that, maybe, something like that. Yeah, so asking all the difficult questions. In miles per gallon, yeah, it's not so good. But we didn't use a lot of firewood. I'm guessing we used probably on Friday and Saturday, we probably used it. If we used a ton of firewood, we might have been pushing it. Hey, Mats. I don't think we did, maybe. In the 3 days, I think we would have used a ton of firewood or a little bit more. So, yeah, not particularly efficient, but we had 3 days fun on a ton. So This is outside one of the hotels. I can't remember which hotel. We had an awesome follow-along photographer. He's also one of the local councillors. A very big supporter and very, very probably a keen steam nut by now. But she and her other half came and took some amazing pictures, and this is some of them. That one particular is Alistair Mackey, who's son and brother of a member, the Shenandoah Steam Shed, took this footage with my drone. So it's a pretty good 30-second video or something like that, but 40-second video. But anyway, let's walk us. See, Dan's got all the answers. I don't know why I'm even on here. He should be doing this. Should be doing it more often. So that was footage. What else have I got? This computer's on the way out. I think it's time for a new one at some point, probably before Christmas or so. We'll see how we go. What other pictures have I got? Saturday was rainy. Really a bit miserable, actually, Saturday. Give you some idea. Sorry about the blue background, guys. But this was the sort of weather we had. Dan and probably Ken on there. That's it, I think. At the Brewhouse Cafe, it was a pretty awesome place to eat, actually, compared to a Saturday afternoon. Much better place to eat than the pub meal that we had the night before, which was really a bit ordinary, to be honest. But very good feed at the Brewhouse Cafe. And that's the sort of weather we got. See, local tour guide too, Dan. He's very good at this. That's not what we want. Hang on. It doesn't work. It's me back again. Does the rain affect the efficiency of the boiler? Not particularly, no. It's all still hot. That's the owner of the cafe. Aha. This is Fridge's trip to the old folks' home. Sure, he made some new friends. That wasn't really the picture I was looking for. This is the one I wanted. So this is probably all a bit boring seeing as you weren't here. It's actually looking pretty tidy in this picture. Not all that rusty and dirty at all, but it still needs a lot of work. A lot of work. And compared to the one in the background, the boiler is insulated and have cladding on the outside on any other roller, but mine doesn't at the moment. I have the bits. They're in the shed. At some point, it will go back on, and I'd like it to go back on, and very much so. If anyone wants a job, come and put it on. And it's something that will probably happen this coming year. But right now, I've just decided that for the next month or so, it's not going to happen. This one should be insulated, and it's not at the moment. So the one in the background is the Grafton City Council labelling, which is a bit of a basket case. It is a bit of a mess, and it's yeah. Peter, I would very much like mine to be a bit of a show pony, and I'd really like to get some work done on it and get it cleaned up. Looking at the list of things that we've done on it and the bits that have been repaired and replaced, we really haven't been slack about restoring it or getting it back to go in a working order this year. We've done a lot of bits, seriously, a lot of bits. But cosmetically, it's not looking tidy as it should, and I'd like it lots nicer than that. So it's got a new permanent home to go in, and we'll talk about that soon. But the one in the back is the council labelling, and it's needs some tender love and care and some conservation, probably more than restoration is probably a big ask on it. Anyway, there's plans afoot with Shenandoah Steam Shed to maybe make an offer on with a plan to actually conserve it at our club rooms. So just looking at these two pictures there, it needs some TLC, absolutely. But it's, yeah, basically bells and whistles and bits of brass and fittings and all sorts of things. We've done a lot of work with all that. A lot of work. It's coming along. But cosmetic would be very nice. I'd very much like to get the rest of the grey on it with white stripes, white coach lining, and some rubber all around, things like that. It would be very nice to do. This reminds me that I've still got a call in to see Phil about a water lifter hose tail. He has one apparently, but that hasn't happened. Anyway, that's asides and not important to anyone. I've got the float valve for it in the back of the car. I haven't got a tail for it at the moment. And there was an old one on it, but it's been run over and squashed. So that was Saturday, really. It was wet and miserable. We had a lot of fun. We ran we had some issues with firewood that was Sunday. We had issues with firewood. Saturday, everything went fairly smoothly, actually. Speaking of which, these pictures will probably feature. This one in particular, I think, is going to feature in a Shenandoah Steamshed calendar. I've put order forms all over. I think there's one on Discord. I think there's probably one on Facebook, or 2 or 3. If you go to my Facebook page for this engine, which is Travels and Tribulations with Fowler 16771, there's definitely an order form to links to there. We're making a calendar, so money up front by the end of the month, and then we'll post out some really nice calendars. They're spiral bound and glossy pictures in this format, like this picture. So yeah, pretty much calendars available, so you should absolutely hit us up. I haven't talked or looked at overseas postage really. It depends on a place by place sort of a situation. Hey, Marts. But postage in Australia, they're $16, and you can have 5 of them posted for that money, or any amount in between. In fact, if you order 10 of them, I'll still post them for that amount. But if you order 6 or 7 or 8, well, probably the postage is going to go up because of bulk. But anyway, nice calendars, $40. It's fundraising for our club. There's a lot of things that we need to do and things that we need to get sorted out. Hopefully someone orders them. We really haven't got the financials to buy them on spec and post them out. It'd be nice to be able to do that, but I haven't got what it takes. And we won't be able to there's not enough money in a fundraiser really like that to have 10 left over at the end. So we're ordering them up front. I think that'd be very nice calendars. I really can't wait to see them, actually. The few pictures that I've got are really good. Saturday night was back at the Mackies, which are club members in is there a Shenandoah website? And Shannon said, no, there isn't. There's a Facebook page. There is a Facebook page. A website might be on the go at some point. That's all costs money for upkeep and so forth, and requires a little bit more time than I've got. But yeah, we've got pretty good photos. We'd like to diversify them a bit. And I've got some in mind that Dan had. So, and to be honest, we're going to the National Rally. So if there's any really nice photos there, we might have them too. We'll see how we go. Saturday night was at the Mackies. We stopped there. It was very nice of them to be hospitable, and I hope we didn't sort of push them too far towards actually buying a steam engine. But they've already owned a couple, so I guess that's it's going to happen anyway. But I'm guessing there's going to be a traction engine in their future at some point. I'm looking here for pictures that we downloaded to have a look. Probably nothing. Sorry, guys. Yeah, actually, you pay another $16 on top of that for postage, Peter, if you're not local. If I've got to post them. If you're local, well, I can deliver them. That's fine. But $16 for postage, even if it's just for one. So, yeah, that's right, even if it's just for one. So pay $40 to the, or pay the money to the account, your postage and your the money for the calendar. And it's a fair bit of money if you've got to get it posted. I understand that, but calendars they tend to be a bit expensive for something nice. There's a lot of crappy ones out there that you can pick up at a reasonable price, but absolutely you can visit to collect. That's not a problem, Peter. I've got stuff going your way probably anyway. So if we make that arrangement, I'd be very happy to sell you a calendar. This is William's workshop. There's a steam engine running off our roller on Saturday night. Pretty good event we had there. We had a steam shed meeting too because we had to put it through as well. But that's, gosh, who's in the background there? Really good question in the vest. No idea. So this is a steam-powered workshop that runs line shafting. The line shafting is a work in progress still, but it's starting to look pretty good. So that's what we did. That's what we did Saturday night. So we hung at the Mackies and stuff. Payday for me too, Peter. But very much appreciated. That's Ken in the background. Nearly banging his head on things. Anyway, the sign says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another, which is a bit heavy, really, for a Saturday night with the crowd that we hang around with. But anyway, it's a good sort of I guess it was probably worth the try. Some of it might rub off or it might not. So that was Saturday. Sunday we visited a miniature railway. It's one of the things we did. We picked William and Beth up at church. And I will have to do a bit more information on William's workshop. It's pretty nice when it comes together. Is it a biblical verse? I don't know where it comes from in the Bible. I don't know where it is. I'm not sure it is. Could be. Someone can give me a reference, but I don't think it is. It might be. So, little miniature railway in Grafton we visited on Sunday morning too. We stayed a running day, and it was good to call past. It sort of great crashed a bit, but some pretty nice gear running. So that's what we did on Sunday. And we had the thing put away at a reasonable time, like 2 o'clock. We sort of were home and it was cooling off. Fire raked out, and that's where it's still sitting in the same spot. It goes to the National Rally on Tuesday the 19th. So big trip to Queensland. This weekend just gone. I'm living here at Glenray, so it's close and easy and pretty good. And I was a limited budget, so many thanks to. There you go, righto, Peter. Many thanks to Fridge and everyone else for their hospitality, especially to Fridge. I went out there and spent some time. This is a job that I've sort of been putting off much too long. I think it's 2 years, something like that. Is it 2 years? It's at least 1 year that I've been promising to do this for Fridge on the side of his Land Rover. So this is a work in progress still. Went out and spent a lot of the weekend messing with this, and it's coming up pretty nice. I kind of like it. It's still got a few more words and things to go on it, but potentially it's going to be quite nice. So that's what we did. That's what I did this last weekend. So that's something that I'm probably going to go out Friday or Saturday this weekend and get that sorted. We're pretty well packed up, I think, for the National Rally, which is at Kingsthorpe in Queensland, just outside of Toowoomba. If you're going to one steam event this year, that's probably where you should go. You get to see me. You get to see Dan, Phil, William, and Stuart, and Christian, and all the rest of the crazy gang at Shannondale Steamshed. And you get to probably see Mark's shed and Mrs. Mark's shed and probably the shed dogs and all that sort of stuff, because I think they're going. And you get to see 56 or 60, or I think the last count was back down to 56, something like that, full-size steam engines, all in one place. So the National Rally at Kingsthorpe, just outside Toowoomba, is the Kingsthorpe Park. Well worth the trip. Should absolutely do that. That's 21st to the 31st of August. So the 21st and 22nd, which is the Thursday and Friday, is it? Yeah, is a road run. It's about 40 kilometres. I sort of feel like we'll probably hold hands at that. There are people who will be there that do more road running than us, but I think we're pretty on top of that. We're pretty organised with that and pretty confident about it. It's only 40 kilometres, so you sort of do that in a day pretty comfortably. I haven't named the possums. Yeah, miserable and cold out in the shed. I don't know where it's living, but they ain't happy. There is a pet possum here, or a possum. Possums and make lousy pets. They're not easily domesticated, possums. They tend to be kind of, what's the word? They tend to be a bit sort of unpredictable, is what a possum is, in captivity, from experience. You don't want a possum holding onto the top of your head. That's not something that's really much fun. And possums pee everywhere, and if they pee on you, that's even less fun. Anyway, they're not fun, really fun pets as such. Yeah, temperamental, well, sort of moody, and they get a bit sort of, they have moods, yeah, possums. Anyway, back to National Rally. You will notice that Fridge's door hinge is probably missing a screw. Is that right? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just an illusion. Yeah, 21st and 22nd is the road run. We're going to do that. And then through to the next week is really the National Rally as such. I've got 3 articles to write for Old Glory magazine. There is one coming out if you keep an eye on that. This one's been accepted for publication on this road run another weekend, which is sort of introducing Emma, because you might see a bit more of me in that particular magazine. With any luck and a good downwind and some dedicated hard work. So I've got 3 articles to write for the National Rally too. So that's sort of going to require a little bit of work and stuff to do that, but it's well worth the trouble, I think. They're not really things I might have chosen, but can hold my own a little bit on stationary engines and tractors, and probably some stuff on. Yeah, I don't even get me started on that, Bill. It's probably not a subject for tonight. I've seen that happen. After a lot of relocation, but anyway. Anyway, from there it's coming back down here to Glenray. If everything goes to plan, I believe it probably will. I can't see why it probably won't at this point. Dan's getting a little bit antsy about it with time delays and things. But it is coming back down here to Glenray. So that's on steaming on the Downs, or steaming under the Southern Cross. It's on their sponsorship money. So I'm kind of pleased that we get to move from Fridges to here, which is too far to run, really. It's probably not too far to run, but it's a bit of a cow of a road. Not a lot of passing space or anything, and I don't think we'd have any problems running through here. But at this point, it's very good to have a truck coming back from a rally that can drop it right here. So that's when things really start to fall into place. So I'm up in Queensland from the 18th. I go on the 19th. I'm coming through on the 19th. On the 18th, I run out to Dan's and supervise the loading of a portable. And then on the 19th, I supervise the loading of a portable back and a portable Marshall portable engine and a road roller on a super tilt to go to Queensland, and then I'm following that up to Queensland on Tuesday. If he arrives on Tuesday night, I may sneak back to, or Tuesday afternoon, I will sneak back to home to Crestmead, Queensland, and do a few things maybe. If that happens, if it doesn't, I would back out on Thursday morning for the road run. So, or Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon. So that's how that's happening. That's the next little while pretty well sort of sewn up. Got more pictures, Randy says. More pictures of anything. Let's have a look. Maybe. I've got 1,000 more pictures, but does that screen go blue when I'm looking for new images? Is that how that works, or does it show me the image before until? Now, we'll go with this. Dan says the road doesn't lend itself well. No, it doesn't. It's absolutely lousy of a road, and even in a car, it's not good. It's got a lot of bends and steep bridges and things, and it's not real flat. I don't think we'd have any problems with it. I really don't think there'd be an issue. But I don't know if we'd like to do that. It goes blue. Okay. This is the new Shannondale steam shed. The pole behind it is not actual aluminium tree. It's a Optus telephone pole. So that's why I've got such good signal here, is that's just out the back. This is the Shannondale steam shed, and at this point, it's going to be great. You saw it first here. I haven't really put a lot of pictures out anywhere. Excuse me, I should have changed the background or set the background or something. Maybe you can do that. I don't know. It's the first time I've really ever done this like this. It's not my usual way of doing things, and it may not be. But this is the steam shed. At this point, it's looking pretty boring and a bit desolate. 10 by 16, something like that, yeah. The railway line runs, in looking at that picture, it runs to the back of the shed, or the side of the shed, down the side there, on the right. So it's not really big enough, Randy, but it'll do. It's a good start, put it that way. Put a few steam engines in there and it starts to get a bit sort of, I'm going back to a blue screen, guys. Works, don't break it by trying to change stuff on the fly. Peter says that's right. So this is basically looking down in the shed. It used to be a tram shed, so the rails are actually covered up with concrete on each side. Looking down from the mezzanine floor. So the two light grey strips of concrete, one down each side, is concrete's 250 thick or something like that. So there's plenty of room for a roller. and other heavy stuff. This will also be our machine shop and workshop area with room for, excuse me, room for a some work in progress engines and some restored engines, not so restored engines, some pretty engines like fridges and some less pretty engines like mine. We've got another picture here. We're going back to blue. There we go. That's the mezzanine floor, which doesn't really show it either. But it'll load in a minute. There we go. There's a desk. It is a desk, not a table. And there's a buffer. We have a buffer. Not sure why there's a buffer in there or whether that's actually our property or what the story is with the buffer. But probably it'll get a door in the back side here, and upstairs on the mezzanine it'll probably get a window, just to make access and so forth a little better. Did I have another picture? Don't think I did. I did have one. I don't think I've seen anywhere where I can find it. But back behind us, under the mezzanine floor, there'll probably be a bathroom, shower area, and amenities, the toilet, that sort of stuff. Eventually, there'll probably be some kitchen area down here. I don't know what that is. But most of this downstairs area will be machines and engines, lathe and mill and all that sort of stuff. So yes, James will put the launch down here, get it all cleaned up. It's got decent lights in it. It's pretty damn cold this time of year, but we need going to need some sort of heat source, maybe. Too many late nights in the shed, but there probably won't be, because at this point I'm starting to work 6:30 or 7, depending on the day, and I'm sort of feeling like 9 o'clock's bedtime, but that's how it is, I guess. I should have downloaded some pictures of the sawmill and stuff that I was sort of had taken, and videos and things to show you just how big Coffs Harbour Hardwoods is. Fair lump of a mill where I'm working. If you have a look on Google Maps, you can probably see it. But their biggest power pole supplier on the eastern seaboard of Australia, I think, and a lot of other byproducts of timber and things like from bridge beams to architrave mouldings. Sort of all comes out the door at some point. So that's cool. Fun place to work. Really loving it. Spent today on claw hammer handles mostly, and rake handles. Sort of a bit of a go at rake handles. Them in the tumbler for finishing, and we've had today, for the last few days, we've put claw hammer. No, they're not done yet. Sledgehammer handles, short sledgehammer handles. Should make in 3 different lengths. Engineers hammers, like ball peen hammer handles. Blacksmith hammers, which are like blacksmith hammer handles, which are a big ball peen hammer handle with flats down the sides. It's a nice handle actually for anything. Then what else have I done? Oh, a heap of hatchet handles too. Little short hatchet handles. So that's what we've done. It isn't officially our shed yet. I'm showing pictures of it. Probably a bit premature, but that's sort of why I've moved down, and that's the reason behind all this. Let's move on to the next picture. Upstairs will probably be some accommodation in the library and office space, and probably somewhere for Fridge to practice his housekeeping. We'll see how we go with that. There's lots of things that we could do with it. I'm going to go back to blue screen. Don't know what else I had to share, really. Probably not a lot. The big stars of the show and the big stars of the shows are the Land Rovers. It's Williams and Dan's Land Rover. It's me driving Williams Land Rover. So how did that happen? I didn't think I even saw the picture took. But anyway, someone took it. They're both, remarkably reliable, really. Surprisingly reliable. We'll see how that works. Dan's at least is going to go to Queensland next week, so we'll see how that happens. It's not a bad picture, but one might not quite be calendar worthy. We'll see if we run out of space of things to put in it. But it's certainly they were the engines that tail shaft's been done, I think, and brakes have been done, heater's been done. Serious amount of work on that green one, which is Dan's. Serious amount of work. Because credit to him, really. It's nice to have pockets that deep. I guess. And such a driving passion to keep the thing on the road. Williams is not a bad vehicle either. Of course, the utes are much shorter in the leg space. The cab's a lot shorter. Shocks are done as well. Bit more different gearbox in them. They are quite a bit different vehicles to drive. And both pretty good machine, really, I guess, if we're going to say that. Take care. Go and have your lunch meeting. That's awesome. Enjoy, Mats. Thanks for joining in. So that's sort of what I've done in the last couple of weeks, just in case anyone was wondering if I was sitting around doing nothing. There's not a lot of workshop projects happening, but these things will happen. The other thing that happened today, yesterday, is that I got a quote on worm gear from China. Got to buy two, but I can move one on, I reckon. CNC wormware, 15 days turnaround plus delivery, including delivery price is $465 Australian, which doesn't seem too bad. So at this point, I spend $1,000 on them, or I could spend some dollars on. Could find a bit of steel and set up a mill and all that sort of stuff. So 900 or something they come to for the two of them. You've got to buy two of them. So not even sure the wheels are original, Stuart. Anyway, the rust's original, yes. Only some of the rust, because a lot of it's been replaced several times. Anyway, I might just pull the pin on them at some point in the next couple of months and get them done. They're finished, ready to go on. And then we can replace the steering gear and get all that sorted for next time we steam it. So that might be something we do. We'll see how we go with that. Anyway, I think we're nearly up. Time's nearly up. It's getting a bit cold in here. Like it really is getting a bit cold in here. I sort of haven't accomplished very much tonight, really. Cook some dinner and had a couple of cups of coffee. That was about the extent of it. And tomorrow night, I've really got things to do. I've got the pattern. For Dan's van, or Dan's Land Rover. But yeah, mirror room and stuff for the camera. So I haven't yet. I really should, and I should have done it. But I can see that. It sort of says 7 down New South Wales, which I don't like particularly. So down below there, at some point, we're going to put some more writing on it. It's going to be probably Friday. We have a work barbecue, which is a sawmill tradition, I guess, on Friday afternoon. There's a finish at 12 on Friday, or 12:30 on Friday, which is not 12. Finish at 12, I think. Can't remember. Anyway, when we finish. On Friday, we have a barbecue for an hour or so, an hour, half hour, something like that. Sounds all right. What's a good onion and salad and stuff. And then I'll head out to Dan's and finish up those doors. So that's it. It's a bit more than $30 a year, but it's not crazy actually. It's $50 a year. New South Wales historic regio is much better than some other states. I know in Queensland and probably Tasmania still, historic regio is really only club events and service testing and that sort of thing, necessities. But here in New South Wales, then historic regio is 60 days general use plus club events. So 3 days in Grafton on the steamroller on historic plates. It goes in the logbook. The 3 days road run, the next road run we do is a club event, so it goes in the logbook too, but it doesn't count against your 60 days. So It's pretty good. No limited range, no, nothing. It's a really good system. It's not crazy expensive. Getting historic plates on the roller was one of life's little nightmares, actually. I reckon I know I spent 12 something hours in registration offices trying to get it sorted. Quite a lot of correspondence about it, and quite a few hiccups along the way. Doesn't go in the road. Is that what you mean? It doesn't go in the logbook? You don't write in the book, righto. I'm not sure how the fine print works, but anyway. I'm not sure about that, Dan. I'm not sure if that's right or not. But anyway, you might be right. Anyway, it is finally registered and it ain't going to be run out at any point soon. So I need to get a club invite letter. Good luck with that. Anyway, we'll see how we go with that. We'll get all that sorted. Anyway, I'm out, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate your time and patience. My my absolute shit show of a slideshow really wasn't particularly good. But anyway, thanks for patience and stuff. Hopefully next week. What am I doing next week? What am I doing next week? How did you get a club run when you went to Maitland? Interesting. Anyway, good luck with that. That's awesome work. I'm very impressed. Next week's Wednesday, there's no On-Shape live stream at the moment. I don't know if there's going to be a live stream next week because we're going to be setting up for the road run at Nick Jerity's and everyone's going to be drunk. Well, I don't know if they're going to be drunk, but it may not be helpful. If there's good reception, then I'll do a live stream, run around the engines and so forth and so on. But we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'm out, guys. You might see some steam engines next week. Be kind to each other and be good to your parents and so forth. Anyway, I'm loving the stream without dropouts too, Peter. It's awesome. So that's one of the good things about moving here. Anyway, I'm out. And